everybody. As we can see the volatility pick up here in the crypto market, as we've been looking forward to seeing how we'll react on this Friday as we head into the last part of this futures trading. And right now we're having a little bit of a pull down here in some senses, you can say. XRP's maintaining over $3 as of now. We've been showing some strength here, holding strong, but we have that $2.98 mark, 296, that preferably you'd want to stay above if you want to have a continuation here going into the weekend. Although, to contradict that a bit, we know the weekends have been pretty brutal most times as we head into it. We've got some developments with Trump that could hinder risk assets here, so we need to be very cautious of our actions here and just kind of let the market take a shape here and not do too much one way or the other. And what I mean by that is Trump has told Hamas that they've got a deadline until Sunday evening to basically make peace. And you know how this can tend to go as we wait for the expansion of war, which I still, my point of attack here, where I still think crypto is going to have the biggest rally, would either be by mid-November, the second week of November, roughly around the 15th, going into Q1 of 26. So I'm still not convinced this isn't a fake out right now, this push up for further resistance. So I want to see us hold these levels and have a little conviction here to push further. Going into the weekend the way it is makes it interesting. I love that XRP's kicked down here and it's cleared out the RSI and the stochastic in the smaller time frames. Like, it did a phenomenal job doing that. 4 hourly is coming back to the mediocre point. You would think we would come down and retest that golden cross here in the 4 hourly at around 296, 297. But that remains to be seen. We very well could go up a little bit farther, and then what ends up happening is we still retest that 20-day where it crosses. But what can happen is if the price action continues to appreciate a little bit, this red line will continue moving up, and then maybe it'll meet it here at 3. Let's say it does something like this, straddles out, and then comes back. Maybe it'll start meeting that 20 as this starts to further come across, and it does something like this, and then bounces. You know, as these keep going, you have the further increase, the further. So we very well could do that. We've only had a 20 cross the 200, and now the 50 has crossed the 100. So what we want to see here so we've had a signal here. We have a signal. What we want for a little bit of validation is we want to see the 50 cross the 200. And then our overall confirmation, we'd like to see the 100 cross the 200 moving average, which is the blue line, that light blue line. So we're trying to see exactly which way we take. I know there's been a lot of questions about Linea, and that's been anywhere from up a couple percent to down 3%, and right now it's down 0.75%. We're still waiting to see if this transcends itself into resistance and then makes its way down here another time at 246, or if we can bounce out of here with maybe what looks like an inverse pattern set up on an inverse possible right shoulder here, left shoulder. So we're trying to see. We know that 1.08 billion tokens gets released on October 10th, so that's 1 week from today. We don't know if they get locked up and staked. We don't know what the deal is, and we won't know until we see it drop on the 10th. So that's something to pay attention to. Right now, Linea needs to get over 2648. That's the SWIFT token that they announced for the beta test to help them with the transformation for the cross-border payments and did blah, blah, blah. So, and a lot of people were a little surprised because they didn't choose the Ledger or XRP. So I've slated it as how we have Ripple versus SWIFT, and now we have XRP versus Linea. So we bought XRP at 34, so why not have both ends of the thing, you know? Why not have both ends of the equation and now have the beta token for SWIFT? I'm not saying today we need to see one way or the other that it breaks or breaks down or breaks out to give us further validation, which it's within such a tight range of about 6%. So we're going to find out one way or another here in the short term. It just came out September tenth the tokens, so we don't have a lot of evidence. But we know it's going to have 60 something billion tokens, and there's only about, what is it, 15, 17 billion only out right now, so it's got a long ways to go. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Ethereum came up to 4,500, reversed down a little bit, but nothing major. I haven't seen no major reversals. Ethereum just needed to come down and try to hold this 4,000. What we talked about yesterday. If you were in the lives yesterday, we wanted to see if Ethereum could hold this back test. It was nice to see it come all the way up here to 4,561 and now drop, you know, about 150 bucks. Try to see if we can hold this back test of this short-term breakout. Might be a little early on the 70% of the move. Nah, it's pretty close. If it falls back within here, you have that ability to come all the way down to 39.90 or even 35.40. If it breaks above here and holds, now all of a sudden we open up the door to the further push to 5,500 at the top of what looks like a broadening wedge that's formed. And if you just look at it like this from a wedge perspective, you can see how it opened up into a wedge. That's a broadening wedge. So why even sugarcoat it? So, and then see how it actually forms itself down if it ends up coming down here in a sense. So yeah, it formed into a broadening wedge. We have one hit, two hits on the bottom, two hits on the top, which a broadening wedge, unlike most other patterns that need 3 hits of resistance and support, a broadening wedge only needs 2 hits of resistance, 2 hits of support, and oftentimes that third hit becomes a volatile breakthrough or breakdown. So we'll see how this transcends itself. But this is good. If we can hold 4,456, this is a good sign. I don't know if we're going to. Because I would have liked to have seen us back test this overall breakout after 5 years on Ethereum. What looks like a little bit of an ascending triangle, but ascending. We didn't know if it was a wedge triangle, whatever. But if it holds this, it would have been nice to see a volatile back test at 35.40, but it's not necessary. It would still be nice. But we did have a nice consolidation here from 5,000 all the way down to like 3,700, 3,670. So that was a big consolidation. So that's a big gatekeeper right there on what's going to happen next. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. We'll get into saying hi to some of the audience. I appreciate everybody in here. A special shout out to the members of Tom's Army. You continue to help me fund what I do here and allow me to put this out for free every single day since March 24th, 2021. Obviously, I didn't have any members then, or no financial support from the audience, but it was just a vision I had. So I thank everybody in Tom's Army. I thank everybody in the Telegram who goes above and beyond and tries to become closer and closer and try to help each other. Because we're in a time of ununity in the world. We're in a time of separation, and it's sad. But that's why I like the power of positivity. I like the fact that we're winners. We are not victims in this community. I will not tolerate the victim talk, period. We want to unify together. I don't care black, white, green, red, purple, square, round, rectangle, bald, hairy, fat, skinny, smelly, good looking, bad. I don't give a fuck. We should all unify. We should all unify because we're being divided, and it's a strategic divide. All the Democrats versus the Republicans, the black versus whites, the skinny versus the ones who believe in 3 dicks or 2 dongs and whatever. The point is they want us to divide. I like XRP, you like this other crypto. Yeah, gold can't have gold and crypto. They're competing. We're always fucking competing. No. That's not the truth. It's the power of divide. Once you divide, you lose your mentality. You lose yourself. So none of that nonsense in here. We're about abundance for all, not abundance for I. If you have the I mentality, you're not going to fit. There's no I in us. There's not even an I in all. The I is very lonely because the I often does things for himself, and while the rest are put to the test because of the douchebaggery of the I. The I takes everything and the rest fail. Now, if you want to have that mindset, just look at the federal governments. They take all. So the national debt's $42 trillion. 32, what is it? I don't know. It's ballooned so much, it's insane to even say these numbers. But that's how much they've stolen from us. So don't steal from your fellow man and woman. So just, we're here to help each other. Positivity over negativity. You know, we want to be helpful, not hurtful. Kind, not rude. We want to keep a mindset of abundance. And some will leave because they want the nonsense. That's okay. I don't want douchebaggery in here. And don't forget to give thanks to our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Yeshua, our higher power, God himself, as we look for transcendence and guidance so that we can help each other and realize that it's more than just about us. You know, it's more than just us. Good morning. 10:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, October 3rd, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan, as we are only, believe this, we are only, it's crazy to think this, 3 Fridays away from Halloween. 10, 17, 24, 31. Yeah, we got 4, and then 4 Fridays from now will be Halloween. Let that sink in. As we see the pumpkins, we always start to transcend the charts where we see a little bit of positivity. Now, we've come to know there's typically one more drop. After a nice little rally, you know, there's always usually one more drop before that mid-November push. Where's it going to be this year? If we go take a look 1 year ago, and I hate that 15 people left because we want to be positive, but I also love it even more that 15 people left when I talked about what I just did. We got a lot of actors. A lot of actors in this space. Let's see. 1 year ago, though. I want to see us 1 year ago. 1 year ago. At this exact time. And remember, XRP never moves is what we're always told. XRP never moves. I'm so sick of this pile of shit. It sits in the same goddamn spot all the time. That's all we ever hear in the audience from the new ones. Some of the old ones in here as well. It never moves, this pile of shit. Well, let's go back 1 year ago on October 3rd. Since it never moves, right? XRP never moves. We've established that by many of the haters and some of the ones who are here every single day. This pile of shit never moves. Well, the problem is you bought it at a horrible spot if it never moves. So, October 3rd, because it never moves. 1 year ago, it was at 52 cents. But it never moves. And we're sitting plus $3. It never moves, folks. We never move. Then it went all the way up to a astounding roughly almost 56 cents. But it came down on October 26th. Remember the pumpkins, folks, the god darn pumpkins. It had that one last dip at the end of October down to 48 all glorious cents. Then it went up and it made everybody on November 3rd up to 53 say this is it. Then what did it do again on November 6th or November 3rd? It came down one last time under 50 cents. After that, it never moves. But after November 6th, it was ball game. So by the second week of November, it was already cooking. And then we had the awe-inspiring move. After we had this little consolidation on the 15th, we had to move up. Then we pulled down. And then after we hit that, what was it? 777. Boom! So 1 year ago from today, you started to see the volatility up, back down, back up, back down, but it was a range between 48 and 57 cents. History doesn't often repeat itself, but it tends to rhyme. So, and that should have been the time, and I was begging my audience at this point, you're going to miss it. We're back testing a 7-year consolidation, literally back testing it to the T. And the projection of the breakout was, it had to happen by the end of November. So November or December of 2025, or 4 was when this breakout had to occur. We were going to break down, most likely. And what did it do? 100% followed that inverse head and shoulders, and we had it drawn out perfectly. It was perfect. The community, not me, we. Notice we. I can't do anything without the audience to help me. It's true, because having more eyes, you see more things. How do you think we evolved into 6 different freaking charts for XRP? We got this chart. We got the XRP Bitcoin chart. We got the XRP market cap chart. We've got the long-term chart. We've got the shorter-term chart, but it's still got the rising channel and the cup and handle from before. Even going back in time when we looked at different bullish crosses that would happen. Do you guys remember last year when before the breakout, we were like, last time we had a weekly golden cross like this was 2021. The last time we did this, it went up X amount. And now look, it actually came through because of our technicals, because of past understanding to predict future performance. I got news for you. We're not even close to where we're going. And some are like, oh my God, they all say we're going to 1,000 or 100 or 5. No, when I say we're not close to where we're going in this cycle, I mean our target in this cycle, and some people always laugh, and you can laugh all you want if you're new or if you think that this is an unrealistic or bullshitly low target. But my target when we started was at 35 when we bought in. Our target was on this bull run, because we had this all set up before we broke out, was $5.49 and ultimately $6.38. And I go, I know it looks crazy now, but it won't look crazy later. And when we get there, people are going to say it's too low. And I used to say it all the time. Now they're like, we're only going to go to 549 or 630. Only for 10,000 tokens, we dropped $3,500. And it's going to be worth 63,000 only. No wonder we all stay broke as a fucking joke. Because we aren't realistic in understanding how big of a turnaround this is. Now imagine you started out with 5 figures and you were at $10,000 invested. Okay, well now instead of having 35 or 63, you've got almost 200. Well, what if you started with 100,000 tokens? Well, instead of starting with 35,000, you are pushing, you know what you're pushing. I don't even have to tell you. You're pushing like 700, 800,000. So it all depends where you started. If you started with $350, when you get up to $6.38, tell me that's not life-changing. You're talking about turning $350 into almost $6,500. Or a little bit more. I mean, it's a big difference. Big difference. But what ends up happening is you get somebody who buys in at $3.28 and he's down right now going, this pile of shit never... It's like, there was only very small time in XRP's history where you could have possibly bought over $3. And there was such a large extended amount of time where you could have bought under 50 cents that you need to look yourself in the mirror and say, well, what the fuck was I doing? What is the plan at $3 that I wouldn't buy at 30 cents? Story of my life. That is the story of my life, trying to tell people this day after day. It's not XRP that you're mad at, it's yourself. So don't hold yourself in content, or hold XRP in content for something that you misjudged at the wrong time. And it isn't even the wrong time. You still got until 6:30. It's just you might have to ride through the hard bullshit now, which you are. Us at 34 cents, do we give a rat's ass if it's going 303, 255, 197, 370, 310, not 28? I couldn't give a shit. Because my portfolio, the bottom line is on 10,000 tokens. I'm looking at 34 to 7,000 for the better part of 2 years. Got one time under over 9. And then went right back to 3,800. And now we're looking at a 30,000. Like, let that sink in. Let that sink in what that means. So take your understanding and put that elsewhere as well. Like, start looking around the board and be like, oh my God, IOTA, a mainframe token of the Internet of Things nonetheless. The connectability to all smart things. Smart cities, smart phones, smart chains, smart utilities, smart everything. And that's one of the biggest parts. It's a mainframe token, MIOTA. IOTA if you look at it for an exchange. It's at 18.4 cents. It's 92% less than it was in 22. Oh, I love it so much. And the story goes on. Dent. And I know a lot of people, oh, it's the dump and... I don't care. I understand you think it's a pump and dump token. It is in the wrong spot. But right now, it might have this huge inverse pattern set up. And it's either going to hold 641 or we're going down to 360. But I'm telling you, if it goes to 360 and you overlook it, or if it bounces off of this area right where it's at and you overlook, you are going to live to regret it. And I'm not saying, and it's not one of the ones that I 100% say this is an Internet of Things and this, it's a different function for me. It's the potential it holds from where it's at. And these are ones that are 99, and I don't believe this is going away. I believe it's got utility in itself, in its own fashion. But I'm also not convinced that it's going to go all the way down into this 360 area. I'm not. I waited for it to clear out, and it did, and now the daily rounded back out to try to see what kind of momentum this was going to build, right at the mediocre point. So just pay attention to this setup. It's actually a little bit lower. I apologize. But pay attention to this setup. Because when it's ready, this thing tends to move in not 1x, 2x, 5. This tends to move in 20 or 30x folds because of how low it goes. I know it sounds stupid. I know I sound like I'm bullshitting, but it does. Every time this tends to make its real move, like it consolidated here for a long time. And this is one that I don't even pay attention to because, you know, it didn't. Then it came way down and came up 500%. So if this is a cup forming at some point, it's going to come up here to 3.8, and then it's going to fill this up. Let's say it never gets back above this area. Let's say it never reaches back above here. Ever. In the rest of its history. But it has the exhaustion phase. It never gets back up to where it was at back in the golden age of 21 when we had all that money printing. And it never gets back up to 2.2 cents. But let's just say it cuts it somewhere, you know, on the down. You know, even if it never makes it back up here, which we'll see what it does. It's still going to move in an interval of 10. And that's even from 746. We're lower than that. Where I was talking, where it could make the biggest movement, is if for some reason it fell down here and it had to validate an uptrend down here from before. That's where you're going to get these multiples that end up being pretty ridiculous if you start doing it. Either way, it's going to be a ridiculous multiple from where you buy it. But this is one that's not for the faint of heart. So coin being this far from all-time highs at this point in the... Why? We're not in the alt season. We're not in the alt cycle. I can point every single token that looks exactly the same that's not in alt season yet. Band. Same thing. That far away from all-time highs. Any token you go to, Algo, IOTA, VeChain, ZIL, let's see. Hell, XDC's not as far, but because they're not in the alt cycle. Yeah, I did do the intro. Yes, I did, as a matter of fact. But yeah, it doesn't look... You know, a lot of things are way under right now. XRP's not. That's why it's in the consolidation of alt season right now. Alt season for most of these tokens hasn't started. That's why you haven't seen the reversal. Look at XRP. If you want to judge a lot of the others, what would you have said about XRP? Wouldn't you have said you were concerned that it was this? Just think about it. XRP was at $3.50 in December of 2018. Wouldn't you have said you're concerned about XRP in November of 24 still being at 47 cents? Almost 8 years later. You know, so be careful here a little bit. Doesn't XRP look like a lot of charts we looked at without them having the forward pull up? 90% of alts won't make it to new highs. You're right about that. But I don't talk about 90% of the shit. I talk about the Internet of Things and the ISO, the RWA tokens, the AI that have some integration. I'm not talking about the meme tokens. I'm not talking about bullshit. Oh, that again, I talk about the ones that have the real utility, the ones that aren't the bullshitters, and I've been talking about the same core for years. You know, and I've said every reason why I think that they're going to do what they're going to do, but it takes time. I don't think 99% are going to do anything. I'm not even mentioning IOTA to you, Ronald. I know you're not hating on IOTA. I'm talking about in general, the ISO and the IoT tokens. There's a lot of information on IOTA. A lot. They do a lot. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and in fact, it's almost impossible to buy it in the USA unless you, honestly, the only place that I can find it that is any sense, now that it's supposedly on other ones, but every time I try those exchanges, it's conveniently not available. For me, the only way I can buy it is WeX and Spot, which is a shame. I like WeX, but it's a shame that it's only available in so many ways in the USA. That's in the video description below under pinned comments. But, yeah, I mean, I would encourage you to look into it. I would encourage you. But yeah, you're right. It's not even 90%. It's 99%, Ronald, that aren't going to do shit. You're right. But there's that one, it's probably 0.1% of the crypto tokens that are actually worth anything. Look how little of IoT and ISO tokens there are. Like how few of them there are. Those are the real tokens. The ones that are oracles that can move data between the blockchain and the actual the blockchain and the actual exchange. Those are important in their own right. But I mean, the only thing that I hold a lot of faith in myself with looking at certain ones is in 21 and 22, when I showed these exact things happening, coming to these levels, everybody laughed at me then. When it came all the way down and I talked about how they would rotate back up, everybody laughed at me then again. When I said about XRP that it would go all the way up, come all the way down, and then round it back up, create that, and go into all-time highs, everybody laughed. Everybody objected. Everybody just thinks it's crazy. So I hold a lot of stock in what I do because I put these out years in advance. I go, oh, make a prediction, Tom. I do. I just don't say it. I show it. Everybody else wants to put fancy numbers out. I actually put it on a screen so you can see it follow and how long it's going to follow. This is at everybody. Like, so I'm making predictions years in advance. I am the same guy who said to buy XRP after the lawsuit when I came on in March of 21, and the same guy who told you to sell it at $1.66 because we were going into an extended bear market, sub 40 cents is when you should buy it next. I'm also the same person who said it would go to 52 cents and bounce at 52 cents to have a bull trap, like just a retest of the drop, and it actually hit 52 cents on the nuts. From all the way up at $1.66 nonetheless. So like the charting, I know what I'm looking at. I also said on Saturday that we're about to have a run up. It's overdue. Bitcoin dominance is ready to move up. Ethereum's cleared out all downside liquidity. We're ready for a surge. And that was on Saturday. Now, we don't know if this surge is going to continue past the upper echelon, but we don't know because we haven't got there yet. Ethereum still hasn't got there. For Ethereum to actually tell us something, it in theory could go... And this is the crazy thing, and I don't want to laugh, but if Ethereum actually validated this, it's got that, yes, they'll push all the way up. If it validates this move, there's a couple ways to look at this. And this is going to have major implications on the crypto market, and right now it's looking very bullish, the way it's holding this. Government shutdown, psh, we don't need the government. I tell everybody this all the time. Aren't we running better without the government right now? I haven't even noticed a single damn difference in our country. Who's noticed any difference since the government shut down? Honestly, answer honestly. If you know, besides if you're on government assistance and they cut some of the stuff, but then again, we shouldn't be relying on the government, should we? If you have kids, you shouldn't be relying on somebody else to feed them. That's where we made our biggest mistake, and that's where the government conned a big section of this country. Everybody believes somebody else should take care of them. That's not how it works. You start wanting other people to take care of you, you fail. Not just that, when other people start taking... Here we go, that's more efficient. Look at that. Look at that! The technical target up on a breakout's 5,341, and if we actually measure this properly, it's 5,341 from right here. That's interesting. They also, they laugh when Addison recorded sound. I love it. I love it. Yeah, XPR is also available on, I think it was WeX as well, believe it or not. WeX is, was it WeX? I was surprised to see it. It might have been WeX. I was stunned that it was on there. One of them. Yeah, it was on WeX. So WeX has IOTA and fucking XPR Proton, which was Proton. I hate Ethereum and anything to do with it. What a bunch of bullshit. Yes and no. Remember, the XRP with the ROUSD has a direct connection into the EVM sector, my friend. So be careful. That's a big part of our liquidity now. Without Ethereum, you lose a big part of liquidity for XRP's ledger. Nobody recognizes that in the XRP community, but it's true. Ethereum in itself I don't like, but Ethereum's well adopted in the USA and has too many deals to go away. Remember that. There's too many deals to go away. Oh, I hate trading Ethereum as well. Oh, I get that. I'm not trading Ethereum. But I would be careful about just, like, a lot of people are like, I'm not buying Linea when it's available or when I think it's the right time because it's on, you know, Ethereum to layer 2. Be careful with all of that. If Ethereum goes to 10 grand or 5 grand or 7 grand, the layer 2 tokens, especially the ones that have the best support from their highest level players, I mean, be careful with all of that. That's where we get ourselves in trouble. And we very well are trying to either break out here or we're going to get the continuation down. But at any point, get ready to strike, because if it goes over 264, like I've said, that if it holds this area, who knows if it backtests down. But once it holds this area, it's going to have a volatile breakout to 401 at some point. It's squeezing. It's squeezing a breakout here. If it breaks down, that's why you have to be careful, because if it breaks down, then you have 2 layers where it could go to like 1.7, 1.29. We could very well do a wick exhaustion to the downside midway, just like we did midway up. So, but this was only released September 10th, so very much have no idea what the hell is going on there as of right now. DXY is still struggling to get back above 98, which is crazy. We've got the Dow's up about 428 points, trying to push past towards 47,000. We know the Russell at an all-time high. CLSQ's up 10.2%. Looks like it's not going to stop. Probably should have took more attention to here when it came back and back tested 370, but I'm an asshole. But yeah, that's going to be an epic proportional miss probably. Because it even showed us the uptrend, the back, and everything else, but we've been so interested in others. Should have dropped that 1,000 tokens there when it was at 240, no doubt. It's one that I'm going to regret. We'll see if it gives us another chance, but that is what it is. Or the 1,000 shares, I should say. Gold's up $22. Gold silver ratio has dropped down 1.34%. It's barely holding on to the 80 handle now, which is, we haven't seen it under 80 in a very long time. We've got Barrick Gold just under 34. It's had an incredible run up this year. Year to date, and remember I advised everybody to buy this, the reversal back in January of this year. Talked about 75% of my stuff was sold out. 75% sold out. It was gold and silver and mining stocks, but I never put mining stocks on there. So after I put mining stocks, after it was released. But the whole video talked about buying mining stocks, and I wasn't buying gold and silver there. Instead, I turned my focus, yes, to gold and silver, but through the mining sector. I didn't buy a single ounce of physical bullion after, well, I did it for many, many years. But after it got over certain levels, I focused on mining stocks. And that was back in early January. And now since January, which is year to date, B2 Gold's up 95% since we talked about the flip. As to where if you go to crypto, and XRP is one of the ones faring a little bit better, up 26% year to date. XLM year to date is down 8%. XDC year to date 22%, VChain 53%, HBAR 26%. So when I said about the flip back in January, that was the time to make the flip. IOTA is down 48% since January. Algo is down 44%. Band is down 56%. Linea, well, year to date, we know it's up 426 because it started at its very low point. They priced it from, obviously. Dent's down 55%. That's also another reason. Be careful with that because it had such an up. You would think it's going to correct to the down as well, but we'll see. XYO's down 55%. CRO's up 33% because of what happened with Trump. I think Band's getting ready possibly for a nice move. FYI. Axelar is down 59.6%. Epic is up 7%. XRP Healthcare is down 70% since January. So when we talk about the flip in January, because we had 7, 10, 15x, 20x on some. How on XRP Healthcare we got all the way up to like 30x. So I mean it was imperative to secure some profits. Fuck, I redid my kitchen, a lot of my stuff as I shifted into, but XRP is the exception to the rule. You had to keep your tokens unless you bought more than you wanted so that you could take some profit and follow my footsteps. But anyhow, so then you start to look at it. Well, all those are down 50, 60, 70, 30, 20. XRP is the exception to the rule of 25. You start to look at the rest and you're like, well, why would we have possibly flipped in? So if you would have flipped into gold, up 47% to start the year. Barrett Gold's up 113% since I said the flip. B2 Gold's up 95. Silver's up 61.9. Pan America Silver's up 85. First Majestic's up to 107. Fortuna's up 95%. Hecla's up 126%. Silver Corp Mining's up 124%. And no, I don't have Dolly Varden up here because reading through all their stuff, I don't want the audience to buy into something that could possibly go the wrong way here because of the common shares. So I'm taking the approach that I'm going to watch this right now for, a couple of days before I start to re-advise you because I still think now with what's happened, this could force itself down. So I just want to make sure that that's not going to happen. I'm actually going elsewhere now. I like Dolly Varden, but I took my profit from $3.65 or $3.70 to $5, whatever it was, when they announced it. I rode that little wave up after the announcement, and then I said, I don't know about this. So Dolly Varden's off my board right now. I don't usually do that, but it was one of my speculative ones, just so you know. So I want you guys to be in the loop. So just please pay attention to that part of it. But Dolly Varden did us well as well. Dolly Varden was up, I don't know. But it was up a good amount from the start of the year as well. But that was one of my later comers. 77%. We only had it in the last 3 months or so. So we're up about 38%. So we took it's 38% today. We're up about 44. Or maybe a little bit more. But I like, there's certain things that I don't like when they start offering common shares. I don't like that. To expand themselves and to make themselves profitable because that makes and it was 4.6% of their total supply is going to increase. And then it said it can go up to 13%. So they can still offer another 9% more of common shares. So I'm a little skeptical about that. The good news is they offered the first set at $6.50, but it was for different reasons. I don't know. It's for there's just a lot of stuff going on there. If you don't understand it, just stay away. So I'm choosing to stay in this way. Silver Corp in the last year is up 124%. Hecla Mining's 126, Fortuna 95, First Majestic 107. So that was just a flip. Now we're starting to see, right? Listen. Now remember when we were down, the similar margins, and when we were looking at the miners saying, oh, this could be the peak? 48% since January, guys. And I have 40,000 tokens right now of IOTA. Could it get deeper? Oh, it could get deeper. And I was the one who sold IOTA after buying it at 9. Got all the way up here back in January, remember? I was one of the ones who sold it above 50, 55. And then I didn't buy it back until we came way down to this uptrend being secured. And somewhere within this uptrend hitting now, And even if it comes farther down, I made so much profit here that I was able to turn, you know, what was it, 20,000 into 40,000, and then still take out a bunch of money for the miners. Like I was able to double my holdings. So do I have a 9 cent? Do I have a 16 cent average, or do I have a 2 cent average because I doubled it with the same money? Like those are the questions that I don't bother asking. But it's always funny to me when people are like, I don't want to lose my average. What if you could get twice as many? What if you just have a feeling because of how the patterns are, you know, it just, and I didn't give you no options in January when everybody ridiculed me. I gave you a perfect flip into the miners. So as crypto's gone down 50%, you could have 1x the miners. Oh, you could have played it safe and did gold and silver and up 60% and 50% respectively. Anyhow, I seen 2 donations. Holy crap. Bob Burtner, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge, and also a $20 donation. Whoa. Holy moly. Good morning to you too, my friend. That's really generous. And then Joseph Euler and Tom's Army for 6+ months with the X-Free Predictor, and also a $20 donation. Holy smokes. I don't know what I did this morning to get the 2 YouTube super chats, but I really appreciate it. That's unbelievable. Money's hard to earn these days, and it's becoming less and less and stretched more and more. So I do not take it lightly when you guys support me with your hard-earned money. Thank you all so much for that. It says, thank you, Tom. I appreciate what you... Thank you so much, Joseph, for that. ZBCN is still on my down low, back of my brain. If it's going to be the right moment and the big bust, or big boom, I should say. Because I still would like to capitalize on an inverse head and shoulders breakout. Trust me. I do so badly want to capitalize on that if it is going to happen. And I'm going to take a different chart out so we can do this together for anybody who's new. Because watch how this uptrend leaves a lot to be desired right now, what's being created. So if you go from here across, above, I mean, look at this. This would, in theory, if it's going to break out, this is where it would break out. Our apex, I mean, again, a lot of the stuff is pointing to a November breakout. I can't help it. And this would not be one to miss. Remember, we rode this one time, a couple 100%, another time, a couple 100%. But we sold every time when it got to the apex top. Ooh. That would be a nice little kick to the portfolio. That's over 1x. Ooh, that would be nice. But that's only the small end. It's only the small end of this equation. It could certainly be a bigger move. But, I mean, we would have to fill out some of this, obviously, to see if we would have the confluency to get through. Yeah, it's pretty confluent around this area. But this is what could bring you up to that 1 cent area. A bounce out of here is theoretically supposed to bring us over the cent. I know a lot of you remember where we rode this up from. Which chart was it? Just so everybody can see it. I mean, we've had this drawn out for so long. It's insane. The first time we bought it and rode it up for this massive move, remember the bounce down here, perfectly timed, way up? Then we sold it, remember the perfect time? Perfect time, then we bought it, sold it. Now we haven't had it for, this is where it came back down. We haven't done anything yet because it's in here. But the next big play is when it breaks out of this. This would be a massive move. This is where we could push ourselves. Honestly, this is where it could push itself over a penny. And there is the rumblings that there is a partnership with Ripple there. So, you know, there's something definitely to watch there. We're getting close. There's no doubt about that. If you're interested in that particular token, and I still am, we're definitely getting close. Could have 500x long. Fartcoin 2, who knows? I mean, if you guys want to go 500x Fartcoin, go for it. You could have 50x gold with very little risk, right? Why not that? We could have 50x PAX G and had minimal risk if you would have bought it at the right time, or 10x PAX G. That's on the blockchain, how you can buy gold. PAXG, but it's, you know, that's something we were doing long ago. We notice how like at 10:30 Bitcoin dropped under 120K. And now since we've been here, it retook 120 and now it was pushing 121. There's a lot of stuff still happening here. And plus, remember, money finds yield. Money finds yield. Money finds yield. Let me say hi to some of you. I mean, I know we're already 45 minutes in. Dan, welcome in, and thanks for being in Times 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Mark Caston, CJ2 Piling, Kyle Koopy at Cape Cod, Kyle from Massachusetts. Thank you all three of you for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So Badge. Mike B, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for the second month with Dusty House Crypto News. D Rojas, good morning. Yes, hit the like button on the way in as well, Mike said. I appreciate that. 102 people watching, only 67% of you are hitting the like button. I'm being too generous. 66% of you are hitting the like button. D Rojas, good morning. Time for some real crypto info. I do my best. Scotty Trades, welcome back in, friend. I'm glad to see you still in here. CJ2 Pilot and Mosey here. Thanks for being in Tom's Army along with Syrian for over 1 year with the I Told You So Bad. And Syrian, thanks for being a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. Jay Freemix, John Bugathorpe, and Mark Korf, thank you so much for being in the audience this morning. Daniel, good morning. Ben B. and Joseph Euler, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. In My Father's Kitchen says, good morning, Tom. Thank you for your faithfulness to this community. Would love to hear your thoughts on where AMP is and any movement on it according to the charts. Ooh, we haven't talked about AMP in a minute. Let me just see where it's at this morning. I do look at it pretty regularly. I just want to see... which chart? I mean, it's below a very dangerous... Well, not below. This is just off. I was going to say that doesn't seem right, but it's still below. Even if you go from here, I mean, maybe this is the start of a new uptrend because we don't know. But we have to use the evidence in front of us, obviously. But it's lower than we would like it to be. It's in a dangerous spot if it gets a rejection here at any point. Because it was building something like this. So you can see how you'd want to hold that layer. So, I mean, it's dumped down a lot. In the weekly time frame, it's actually pushing oversold. So at some point, it's getting close. And this is one that you have to time it properly, perfectly, and you can make some serious money on it. But it's down 61% since January, almost 62%. This is one you can make some serious money on if you buy it at the right spot. And it's close to the right spot. It very well could be in the right spot. Weekly's pushed way down. Daily is starting to move up. We'll see if we get rejected by this little uptrend at 3.2 and forces it back down to like 2.9. But we'll see, because this could be the start of the hook. But we also want to make sure it's not breaking down as well. So, but yeah, we'll see if this is starting, or we're just seeing. We're just going to see. But right now, a lot to be desired. Undervalued if it breaks back through here, but overvalued if it gets a rejection here. It's so crazy how that works. Monthly time frame, pushing down in the stochastic. Definitely something to be paying attention to because it's engulfing candle to the downside. Made a new low and it really hasn't pulled back too much. So I'll keep it on there for at least for now, just to look at it. Well, there's a lot going on here today. Even precious metals, you know, they pulled back a little bit in the gold and silver, but then like silver continues to push on some real pressure here. I was surprised to see Silvercorp mining up at $7 now. It's happening very quickly. It's just moving very quickly, honestly. So I am happy about that, don't get me wrong. It's just it's moving very quickly. So now I had a lot of people ask me, Tom, if you didn't have a minor yet, which one would you go into? And I mean, if you don't have any understanding, like just to like type in a minor, you really need to like we need to do because we want mining. But I would look at the silver miners right now. Let's see if there's any that I haven't been thinking about in my head. Not crypto. If there's anything that I haven't been thinking about in my head that'll pop up. We have Pan America. We have Silver Corp. I don't think Avino, we probably missed that by a mile. Endeavor, we probably missed that by a mile. Yeah, 475% year to date. Damn. That was a nice move. Endeavor, 94%. 50%, but that's on a different setting. Dolly Varden's up 77, but we were already on board with that. Probably mixed the boat already on Silverbox. Yeah, but this is playing it a little different though. So this isn't like just apples to oranges. Now, this is apples to oranges with the regular miner, because they're a blank check company that buys these mergers. But they're in the right space for this. They're in the right space. Let's go. Sorry, I'm doing a little secretive research for me. So they offered initially $10 per unit, 20 million units in August of 2019 or 2024. That's not what I want to see though. I want to see their holdings. Platform that combines Bitcoin exposure, proprietary growth opportunities, and accredited yield generation, delivered through the institutional grade management and execution of a daily native manager. Paradox Holding is founded by Paradox Capital, a multi-strategy investment management firm focused on digital asset sector. So they're combining, so they're adding a little bit to their venture. I don't know about it. I don't know. I didn't know. I mean, I knew that was talks, but I didn't know they actually went through with it. It's a very slow growth. Slow growth mover. I mean, it's not meant to move a lot. Okay, and then there's the metal companies. Like, you'll get the... If you type it in silver metals, this is just giving you a way to kind of look at this so you can try to get some of these corporations. But you want to do it on the New York Stock Exchange. Keep it towards the USA. So if you go through countries, just make sure they're available for the USA if you live in the USA. OTC's harder, so I would suggest staying on the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. OTC is over, it's done a little bit different. PLG is the one we talked about for platinum, and I never could pull the trigger. I never did pull the trigger. We talked about this, and it sucks. But we talked about this as this whole month was going on. This was one of ours a couple weeks ago. We talked about it, and I never pulled the trigger on the platinum. I almost kicked myself for it. I do kick myself for it. But it had gone up. Man, that's one that was a platinum play, but I decided to stay out of the platinum because it's a little bit different. I mean, I own platinum, which is why all the more reason I should have bought the miner. And it was not even performing as well before. It was up 50-something% before today. That's tough. It's still nice to see ones that you have on your watch list that, even if you didn't buy them, that they end up going in the ways you thought. Because then you can start to look at other ones. I don't really like OTC, though, when I'm buying my miners. I mean, if you want to do, like, the junior miners and stuff, you might have to, but... Yeah, I mean, so... Speculative at this point. If I don't have something, chances are it's probably way up. You know, that's the problem. It's probably way, way up. So it's hard to say, is there anything? Because most of it, if I had it or if I wanted it, I basically bought it. The only one I didn't, I almost wish it would have went down today because I have that extra capital from Dolly Varden going up 40-something%. But I just don't like all the common shares they're offering. So I'm gonna stay away. If they go up, they go up. But I could have used that on the platinum miner. But of course it's up 7% today. I don't know if there's any other of the platinum miners that didn't move. There's only like 3 of them that are of any relevance in the USA. But the problem is here's the problem with the platinum miners as well. Unlike some of the other ones, they're mainly in Africa. And the jurisdiction problem is the biggest problem when you're looking at a miner. Because if the government takes it, you're screwed. And most of these platinum ones are in Africa, and there's not any real safety net for the actual mines. So the government can take them at any time. They do their own thing, blah, blah, blah. So it makes it hard. Oh, no, I should put platinum metals probably. Because they always end up being a platinum metal corp. So just remember that if you're trading a platinum miner, unlike the gold and silver miners, they're not apples to apples. Because most of them are in Africa. But you still need them to be available for you to buy in the USA. That's why I always switch all countries to the United States. But there's very few that you're going to find. PLG is one of the largest ones for platinum. And a lot of the platinum miners, they make most of their money in nickel, which I'm not a fan of. So if that's where they aggregate a lot of their money, I won't even look at them. If they're a big nickel producer, I'm not interested. If that's where they make most of their money, I'm not interested. That's the metals part of it. But the actual company's up here. I mean, up 8% on the day, which is interesting. This is one I didn't buy, and it's one of the only ones that I didn't buy at the beginning of the year that I really wanted. And of course, it's one of the biggest movers, but you know, that's the way it crumbles. Sorry, I should have already logged. I was going to log off, but then I got interested in this. But anyhow, I think you get the picture. Risk versus reward. Silver miners, I think, have the best upside potential. Fortuna silver mines at $8.88. We are starting to get towards these upper areas. But remember, this is still in the consolidation. So once it eventually breaks out, and this would be the third hit. Once it breaks out, you're going to have that big upside potential that's going to push 16 to 20. So Casper Network partnered with Wise Lending for liquid staking. Ooh. It's about time they get some positive news. I'll put this back on the list, Devin, so we can watch this on my next live, because I got to go. Starting to run low on time here. Let's see where we're sitting right now for Casper. Still under a penny. What a deal. Casper, believe it or not, is an ISO token. I know a lot of people don't believe it. They just had a lot of issues. A lot of issues at that. But look, every time we get this strengthy downward, it's down and sideways consolidation, we get a nice push. Down and sideways, next push should come soon. We're building a strong little, we're trying to make a little uptrend here. So, I mean, you're on support floor right now if you're looking to buy this. Could it fall through? You better believe it. But right now it's building a little uptrend. We have higher lows here, which is actually really bullish. It could be speaking to the news. This could absolutely be speaking to the news, because look at this. That news just came out. We could be on the verge of a move here. The apex of this, again, November. November looks like it could be a very strong month for crypto and some of these altcoins. Daily's overbought. So watch this volatility going, through the rest of this month. Weekly and critically oversold. Like critically oversold. That is critically oversold. Wow. Wow. Yeah, this is meeting something here for Casper. I'm going to have to look at this. That is coming towards something now. Good eye. Who said that? Devin, good eye there. And thanks for being in Time Zone for over 2 years with the XP589 Moon Badge. I'm very trusted out of here and in the Telegram. In my face. Oh, you guys are welcome. You guys are so welcome. Mrs. G. Stott, welcome in. Everybody, if I missed you, I apologize for being in for second month with us. That was Crypto News. So honored to have everybody in here. I am so honored. Thank you all so much. Define, I'm glad to see you were in here. Hey, everyone, just leaving the hospital to do an emergency procedure this morning. All is well, nothing serious, just excruciating pain. Oh, boy. Define, we'll keep you in our prayers, my friend. I'm glad everything went good and you're leaving the hospital now. Thank you so much for keeping us updated and being a very vital part of this community as well. You're such a trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. You help out so many people. We'll just keep our thoughts and prayers with you, my friend. Ask our Lord and Savior for some guidance and some healing for you. Amen. Band pushed back over 70 cents. I really feel there's a move coming there soon. Linea's pushing up a little bit here now. So we're breaking past here. So that's a nice, this looks like it's going to have a little bit of a surge here in the short term. So do what you got to do. My expectation of where I'm going to buy. It's at that point possibly. If we're oversold in a good way in some of these, pushing up. Some are trying to push down. So be attentive to the fact that it could come to 2.4, but we're in a tight range. And as long as it holds this, we're going to start to push back up towards that 4.1. We're very much in an area of uncertainty because it's still only been out since September 10th. And 1 week away from 1.08 billion tokens being put onto the market. So pay attention to Casper, though, this morning. I'm not a financial advisor, but pay attention. That is getting very close to a make it or break it movement. And it's been stuck here building a third stack of an uptrend. And it is, man, that's getting into a spot with the weekly. Last time we talked about this, we were talking about the weekly, how we needed it to clear out and then we'd be much more excited. And that's been several months now. That weekly time frame should bring some excitement. I don't know why it's not. There we go. Look how oversold this is. And it's built support structure 1 for a low in November. Low number 2, higher low in March of 25. Higher low 3 hits the support, but the third one on this higher low setting was in September. Or no, October. No, September. I mean, look at that. Holy smokes. That looks like a descending wedge or descending triangle. That's a super bullish consolidation. Like if I didn't know what token this was, and that's a super bullish consolidation. Wow. It turns me away from a platinum miner perspective. I don't want them getting their money in a metal that is so volatile and doesn't really move in the direction we want it to. And not that it doesn't move up, but I want them getting their funding from platinum. A lot of platinum companies pull out very little platinum, the miners, and it's based on nickel. Well, I don't want a platinum miner because of what they're doing in nickel is my point. If I wanted nickel, I would take a nickel miner. Nothing against nickel, Mr. Stott. And thanks for continuing in Tom Zone for your third month with the XRP Meteor, but it has nothing to do with nickel itself. If I wanted a nickel miner, I wouldn't buy a platinum miner is my point. Now, if it was a platinum miner and they pulled nice amounts of gold and silver out, well, I have no problem. So, but yeah, great question. Great question. Do I take profit on the miners? Not usually. Not at this point. But you can. You certainly can. The only thing I sold was Dolly Varden. It was up like, I don't know, pushing 50%. The only reason I sold it is because they talked about how they're putting out, it ends up being 4.3% of common shares they're putting out now, but they have the ability to make it 13% of their total shares. They can increase in common shares, which means there can be another 9% additional common shares, which will happen. And that's the way they're going to try to make cash flow. So that is dangerous for an investor. The other ones that I talk about, absolutely not. Silvercorp Mining did the opposite. They're buying back 6 million common shares, or 6 million of their outstanding shares, because they think the price is too cheap. That's what you want to see. So the sign for Dolly Varden, it could still double. You don't know real quick, but that's a sign of maybe cash draft. So, but that's what I got, everybody. Thank you all so much. Hope this